Good evening and thank you for joining us on 3 News Now on this Friday. I'm Molly Hudson. Many of us have experienced the awe of entering the Durham Museum's Great Hall, looking up at it and taking it all in. The museum is continuing its restoration efforts, this time focusing on the intricate Art Deco ceilings. I went to see the preservation in progress and explore what it means for the Omaha icon. Sitting 60 feet above, historic art displayed across the Union Station ceilings, now getting a refresh.
We consider Union Station our greatest artifact. The building is a National Historic Landmark, so it's our responsibility to care for it.
But maintaining it while also preserving that history is key.
Conservation or consolidation of some plaster surfaces, some replastering of some areas that are a little more damaged. Some cleaning and touching up of paint. We're not completely repainting everything because everything's in actually pretty good shape.
Walking through the Great Hall of this historic building, you probably don't see many imperfections, but if you take a closer look, you can see parts of the ceiling impacted by past projects, water, and time.
Stuff that looks like you weren't going to have to touch it at all from the ground needs a little work. So there's some of that, but nothing major.
Mark and the crew from Evergreen Architectural Arts started this project in 2020 and successfully completed the Swanson Gallery. But because of the pandemic, the Great Hall was put on hold.
There's not a lot of really fantastic Art Deco buildings of this size in the country. So it's kind of a joy to walk in and see it and get to be a part of it.
It's a $1.6 million project funded by private donors and a grant from the Nebraska Department of Economic Development. It's expected to be fully complete by the end of May.
The scaffold will start going up in the first section of the Great Hall as we're wrapping this one up so that we can just, keep hopscotching onto the different scaffolds and not have to, pull out for a duration.
But a project of this scale and historic significance comes with its own challenges.
Sometimes it's a challenge matching 50, 80, 100-year-old techniques and materials with modern materials that don't necessarily behave that way.
Mark says it's amazing that Omaha still has this landmark.
I think it's great that the building is preserved. I mean, there's been so many of these big old train stations and just structures that get tore down.
The team examining every detail, restoring it all by hand, and ensuring that everyone can enjoy the Durham for years to come.
Just getting to experience this space as it was in 1931 and kind of be transported back in time.
There has been a ceiling restoration project before, but the last time was in the early 90s. Because the project is being done in phases, the museum plans to stay open for the duration. You can visit the museum's website for project updates, operational impacts, and even videos of the process.